welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'll be telling you all my labor and delivery story. I'll be inserting some of the clips from my labor and delivery, and I'll be also doing my makeup. This video is mostly about the story time of my labor and delivery and some of the clips so that you guys can see how it went. And I will also be doing my makeup, but I did more of a simple makeup because I really just want to focus on the story. But if you're interested in listening to my story of my labor and delivery and seeing the clips and also watching me do my makeup, then go ahead and continue watching my video. But before you continue watching, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the post bell notification, which will allow you to know when I post new videos. And let's get started with this story. I'm closing up the camera a bit more so you guys can see what I'm going to do on this eye. Let me tell you all that I have not done my eyebrows. I tried to fill them in over the bushy eyebrows that I have right now, but as you can see, I don't really like the shape that it has right now. I need to go get them done. It all happened February 17, which is when I actually went into like labor and stuff. So whole visit was because I was measuring large. So it got to week, I think 36 or 37 around there, and I was measuring large. So because throughout the whole pregnancy my stomach wasn't even big, like it was like a pretty good size until the end when I actually started to measure large. That was a little bit of a concern to the doctor because she was like, oh, you're measuring large, so we're gonna send you over to get an extra ultrasound just to see how everything's going. Like it might be that you have a lot of anatomic fluid, which is like water that you have there in your stomach, or it could be that you're like measuring large because you're gonna have a big baby. I went in for that ultrasound, and the guy like that's doing the ultrasound, he's measuring the baby, and I'm just there looking, and I start like to ask him questions like, what do you think? Is it that I have a lot of anatomic fluid, or you think that it's just I'm gonna have a big baby? And the guy tells me, he's like, well, your anatomic fluid is actually pretty good, like you actually don't have a lot of it, but your baby looks big. Like I'm here measuring him, like they were measuring him through the ultrasound. I mean, well, doing all the measurements and all, your baby looks like he's gonna be about 9 pounds. And I'm just there like, what? 9 pounds? Like my first baby, I was just scared when they told me that, because I'm like, I'm gonna have to birth a 9-pound baby. So it's just crazy because that got me scared. Okay, so another week comes by. I'm already in week I'm on week 39. Is on a Tuesday, and that's February 16. I have another appointment to go in, and the doctor was going to discuss with me about them thinking that I'm going to have a big baby, because that's what they said in the ultrasound. And they were just like saying, oh, well, you know, like you're having a big baby, like we're going to try to do all of this natural, like go on with a vaginal birth. But we never know, because like if it's a big baby, you can end up in a C-section, and I really didn't want a C-section at all. Like that was not in my mind. Like nope. I said from the beginning that I was gonna do my best to try and push this baby out. So that same day the doctor's like, well, we're gonna do something that's called like ripping your membrane. If I'm confusing it, he said ripping your membrane, and basically what they do is that they stick their fingers up in there in your private part, your vagina, and they try to feel and try to like do something to you so that you can start dilating. So then he's like, oh, we're gonna try to do this to you, see if we can, like, you know, get this going. Maybe this will get you dilating since you're having a big baby. Let's see how it's gonna go. So I'm there, he does the procedure. As soon as he enters his fingers inside of me, like to do the procedure and stuff, he tells me, oh, like we don't even have to go through with this, like you're already literally dilating. Like you probably don't feel any pain at all, but you're already dilating, like you're already 3 centimeters down. That same night, okay, I go home afterwards. I'm just sitting at home, like I decide to shower, and I actually decided, I know this is too much information, but I actually decided to shave down there, shave my legs and everything. And I went to bed early that day. I actually went to bed early because normally I go to bed like super late, like at 12, 1 or 2. That day I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go to bed early, like I'm tired, might as well just, I have to like work from home tomorrow regardless. So I go to bed and it's literally like 9 o'clock, almost 10 o'clock. That's when I went to bed. That's early for me. So I go to bed, I'm laying there. I had a good sleep for, I went to bed like at 10 o'clock, 11, 12, 1, 2. At 2 o'clock, this is when stuff started to go down. This is February 17th, the next day. Stuff starts to go down because I start to get minor contractions. When I say minor contractions, it's just like, you know, when you're about to get your period, you get light cramps. Well, that's what I started to get, light cramping. They were a little bit apart. Okay, I will fall asleep in between, no problem. They continue to come on, and this time they're a little bit more frequent, but and a little bit more stronger. They're every 5 minutes apart, and the doctor had told me, you know, you need to go to the hospital. If your water breaks, you come immediately to the hospital. Or if you're getting contractions, like let's say your water doesn't break but you're getting contractions and they're 5 minutes apart, then that's an indication that you should go into the hospital. So then I'm here, oh, these contractions are coming in a little bit stronger, but I can handle them, but like they're 5 minutes apart, and the doctor told me to go in during that time. But I'm just laying in bed, I'm like, this is all me making it up in my head. Maybe I'm just like a little bit, you know, traumatized and stuff, like maybe just scared. But no, girl, they continue to happen. So then what happens afterwards is that I stay there in bed, and I'm like a little bit fuzzing around now, just like moving like in bed, because I can't really focus on my sleep because they're happening every 5 minutes. And then guess what happens when I stand up a little bit? I'm like here, like between, like I can't, like, you know, really focus on my sleep. So I move a little and I kind of stand up from the bed, like sit up. My water breaks, and I'm just like, when your water breaks, it's not like in the movies that it's like a whole water gushing down on you. No, that's not what it is. It's more like a fluid that comes down, like it just comes down, but like it literally goes through your underwear, and it kind of like hit the bed a little bit. So I'm like, oh my god, this must be my water that broke. But then I didn't know, because this is my first time having a baby. So I'm just like, is it my water that broke, or is it just me making it up in my head? Like I didn't know like what to think. So then I tell my boyfriend, I'm like, oh babe, I think it's time, like my water broke, like I think this is my water that broke. Babe's like, go ahead, go get your bag, because my bags were already packed and everything. Get your bag and let's go to the hospital, because we gotta go. Like, you know, they told you if your water breaks, you gotta run first to the hospital. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh man, should I go or should I not? Maybe this is just me being dramatic. Like, should I just like wait a little bit longer? And he's like, no, let's go. And I was hesitating to go. So then I stood up and I'm like, let me just go. Like, I can just go in, get checked, and see if it's actually my water that broke, and then like we'll decide. Because my pain wasn't so bad, but like it was manageable, but I would feel them every 5 minutes apart. So then when we got to the hospital, I wanted to film all of this, but when you're in between all of this, it's just like, when I was going through it, I was getting contractions coming and going. They weren't so bad, I could tolerate them. But the thing is that when you're in this, it's like you're living this moment. Like you don't really want to, the last thing you think about is having a camera in front of you. And then I was also had to go to the bathroom, you know, do number 2, because you feel a lot of pressure down there. Like the head is already putting so much pressure on you down there that the last thing you want is a camera. So we decide to leave. I get in the car. Once we're in the drive to the car, which the hospital is like about like freaking 20-25 minutes away, baby's driving and stuff, and I'm just there, and they start to come on a little bit even stronger now. So I'm just like, oh, maybe, you know, it really is time, because the contractions are coming in a little bit stronger. So I'm just there in the car and I'm holding on. I'm like breathing in between each contraction. We get to the hospital. They take me in to a room and they check me, and the first thing I had them do, like I told them, oh, can you just check if my water broke or not, because that way I know if I should stay here or if I should just leave, you know, like, because I'd rather just labor at home than labor at the hospital. So they do like this little test on me down there to check me and stuff, and they check me. They come back in a few and they're like, yeah, your water broke, so we're having you stay, and you're already 4 centimeters farther down. So now it's 4 centimeters down, and that was at 5 o'clock when I got to the hospital. That was 5 o'clock in the morning, February 17th. So then I'm there, I stay at the hospital, I'm walking around a little bit. I did not get the epidural right away. I'm actually gonna insert the videos in here of me talking and explaining to you guys. Hello everyone, as you can see, I'm in the hospital right now, hooked to the IV over here, and I am in labor. I actually started labor, I could say 4 o'clock this morning when my water broke. And right now, what time is it, babe?
It's 9:26.
It's 9:26 and I'm 8 centimeters down, so just 2 more to go. I still haven't gotten the epidural because I feel like I could do this without the epidural, so let's see how it goes. I didn't get to film everything because, like I said, it's a hospital. I have to follow their rules and their policies, and they weren't allowing it. So then I'm there in bed, like I sit down in the bed. They have a rocking chair, they have a little ball, they put me to bounce in that too, rock back and forth. I walked, and I'm actually doing pretty good without the epidural. Like by 12 o'clock around there, I was already like almost 8 centimeters. So I went down pretty quickly for somebody whose first time was in labor. So I was doing really good, and my plan was to just not get the epidural at all. But this is what happened. I'm sitting there and I'm already 8 centimeters down. Like, they had already come in the anesthesia group to try to like convince me to get the epidural, but I really didn't want to get it. So I'm like, oh, I'll hold off a little bit more. So I'm 8 centimeters down and I'm still like going through with the contractions. I'm doing pretty good. Like I could actually handle them, and I was doing good. But then when I'm 8 centimeters, I'm sitting there and the nurse comes in, one of the nurses, and she's telling me, I think you should really consider getting the epidural. Like, I know you're doing a really good job handling the pain, like you're contracting really good. The issue here is that you're having a big baby. Your baby is literally he's either going to be macrosomic, which macrosomics is when they're like 9 pounds up, or like they're really big babies, or like he could just be like a little bit less than that, but you're having a big baby, because we could see that through the ultrasound. You can deal with the pain, but once you get to 9 or 10 centimeters, when you're there and 10 centimeters down already, like about to, like, time to push, the contraction is gonna come at you much stronger. And the thing is that your baby's so big that we don't want you to like get so exhausted to the point where you're not gonna have enough energy for you to push your baby out. So then she tries to convince me to get the epidural, and she's like, oh, if you would have had a baby that was at least 6 pounds, I would tell you to just stay like you are, don't get the epidural, because you're doing very good without contractions. So then what I do is I listen to her, I actually take her advice, and I go for it, I go for the epidural just because of the size of my baby. So I decided to go for the epidural, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get it. After I get the epidural, I'm gonna insert another clip here. This popsicle feels really good because I'm like thirsty. I don't think you can drink water.
Oh man.
I was gonna record this morning when my water broke, but it's like when you're in pain, like, well, I wasn't in that much pain, but I was in pain. It's like you don't want to record because you don't know what's going on. It's my first pregnancy, so I didn't know like if my water broke or not. I didn't even know if I was in labor or not, but until like the water came rushing down, and I'm like, well, maybe we should just leave. And then it did break.
Yeah, right. I told you we out.
If not, I would have paid her.
You're like, no, babe, let's just wait it out till the morning. I'm like, yeah, right, we out of here. Let's hit the jets.
And I lost my water.
Man, we in here, man. We're about to get her on the ball. Get her stretching her legs, you know how it is. Boom. What you gotta say to the world before you come, Papa? Psych.
Don't lift that up.
Oh man, look at that's his heartbeat, guys. 153 like a bull. And this is where he's gonna lay it up back, boom. His first little shelter for the welcome life. Enseñé la barriga, mira barriguita, mamá.
So once the delivery started, that's when they had me like, because once you have the epidural, you can't move around anymore, you have to stay in bed. So they were just like putting me on the side with the ball in between my legs, on the other side with the ball in between my legs. And then once like you already go down to 10 centimeters, that's when the crew, the whole like doctors and nurses crew comes in to have you push. Well, in between the time that I was 8 centimeters and I got the epidural, I was just there getting switch positions like side with the ball in between my legs. And on top of that, I also felt like I wasn't feeling the contractions anymore, but I did feel pressure. So you do feel the pressure still, like even when the epidural, and I did feel my legs, but I still felt the pressure. So I was still progressing pretty quickly. I got down to 10 centimeters like in about an hour or so. So that's actually pretty quick. Like, I know it sounds like a lot like throughout the day, but that's actually pretty quick for our first labor. So I got down to 10 centimeters. Once I was at 10 centimeters, the crew came in, and that was when it was time to push. Now this is when thing gets real. This is why she was telling me to get that epidural, because once you start pushing, that's a whole other side of labor. Like, that is just insane what goes on in there. I started to push and stuff, and they tell you you're progressing, the baby's going down, so which is actually really good. Like, so the baby continues going down by himself and stuff. So you continue to push. I was pushing in different positions. And by the way, like I said, having the epidural does not mean you're not going to feel anything. You still feel the pressure when you're pushing down of the head there. So I can see why the nurse was telling me to get the epidural, because if I wouldn't have gotten the epidural with the size of my baby, I don't know how the labor would have ended up. Like, I just really don't know. But I went through with it. Like, I was pushing, the baby was going down, and I was put in different positions to push, and the position that I ended up working the most was like laying down on my back and having both of my feet up, and then just like this. But that was a position that worked, and I felt like I was pushing. I pushed for an hour and 20 minutes, and then the baby came out. But I felt like every time I would push, like, I felt like, yeah, the baby was going down, because I could feel the pressure. Like, I didn't feel like everything ripping and stuff, because obviously I had the epidural, but I felt the pressure. And at the end, when the head was coming out, that's when I kept pushing and pushing and stuff, and all I will feel was like a really big like pressure. Like, I could feel like there was a head coming out of my vagina, but it wasn't like painful, like ripping sensation. It was more like a like a big pressure down there. I also felt contractions. Like, I could feel when the contractions were coming, because you have to wait until contractions go through for you to push. You can't just push whenever, because then that's how you end up ripping. So the baby finally came out at 5:02 p.m. on February 17th. So basically I spent all day in labor. I spent all the way from 5 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's already 12 hours in labor, and I had not eaten anything before until 5 p.m. on February 16th. And also, I would recommend always to wait a little bit on the epidural. Don't get it right away. Wait until you dilate, because you do dilate quicker when you're not on the epidural. But honestly, I would say that yeah, I do want more kids. I want a baby girl, and babies are so beautiful. But giving birth was, when I felt the baby come out like down my vagina, and they pull him out afterwards, once the head is out, you feel such a big relief. Like, you feel like your stomach goes all the way down, and then on top of that, like, you feel so hungry, and they right away serve you food. The first thing that you do is like you go shower and stuff. I was able to go shower, obviously with the nurse helping me, and then after that I ate, and I was just there like in the hospital with babe. He stayed with me throughout the whole labor. He was actually born 8 pounds 12 ounces, almost 9 pounds. So the ultrasound wasn't off by much. The ultrasound said that he was going to be 9 pounds. He was born 8 pounds 12 ounces. So the ultrasound was only off by a few ounces, and that's it. So my baby was actually huge. But I like how this turned out. I hope you all enjoy listening to my labor and delivery story. So I will see you all in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos, and on top of that, don't forget to hit the post bell notification to notify you when I post another video, and also to help grow my channel. So you guys just know, help me out grow my channel. And I post new videos every week, and I basically just give advice, put life videos, different type of videos on my channel. So I hope you all enjoy watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.